is one of the first times I've actually put the work in to see how I would like doing something like this. So here I am. When it comes to this game, I have been a dedicated player since early of 2023. I know that it peaked in popularity somewhere in, I think, summer of 2022. I just fell in love with it. I don't know. And I've shown people it before, and they always say, like, why are you so in love with a game where you just hop around and run away from images? Well, obviously, it's the detail. This game is so intricately put together. But along with that, the two main reasons that this game resonates with me so much is the music and the maps. I would even go as far as to say this still applies even before the arcade was available, back when the only maps that you could use were Russia and Mall, and the only way that you could get to either was if you spawned in the mall first and then found the outside. It was always pretty easy to make your way to Russia unless you were unfamiliar with the map's layout. And this also goes for your efficiency to play most of the game in general. But this was also easy due to the fact that B-hopping was not always a part of the controls. And you did not have to rely on speed back then at all. What mattered is how long that you could stay moving. Until about 6 months into playing the game for me, I experienced that abhorrent buggy update back when B-hopping was first put in the game's mechanics. And I cannot remember if the boaterman was added during this update or if he was in the game beforehand. But either way, I don't think I will be able to forget how sad it was for me to realize that I could no longer play because I was a mobile player. You were not able to steer your screen whatsoever. It was like you were playing in an endless blood moon. They would kill you even if they didn't really touch your character. The gameplay just became frustrating, and I stopped playing for a really long time after that. Sometime earlier last year, I realized that I was eager to learn how to play even with how hard the controls were on mobile. This was how I learned how to play with 3 fingers instead of 2 thumbs. Although by the time that I had learned how to do this, the bugginess and glitchiness of this update was completely fixed. Thank you, Nico for doing God's work. I still had to learn how to do that, or else I couldn't efficiently steer on mobile. I learned that I could use my right hand with the thumb that I was currently using to jump, that hand's pointer, to steer the camera. And not only that, but to utilize being able to slide to gain more speed to make a more efficient B-hop chain. Right here, I realized that my chicken head was blocking my cosmetics, so here's me taking that off. Anyway, the reason that I previously mentioned the boaterman when talking about the game's lag spikes, I guess, was because I remember him being the main source of all the bugs that took place in the game. Despite this, he was my absolute favorite event ever since I've started playing. And I remember whenever he got removed from the game temporarily because of obvious reasons, at some point they brought him back, and I was so happy that they brought him back. I think it still took a while for everything when it came to the quality to like get under control, but basically everything improved from there. When it comes to the music, I'm also a huge fan of Nico, who is the developer of the game and who has composed all of the music within it. Although I will not fail to mention the music outside of this game, which is just as good in my opinion. It's especially songs like Awful or Step Back that are just at some point in the day playing in my headphones. Although Awful has to be one of my favorites because I think when it comes to an example across all of Nico music, this is the only time he's used that style of song. It fits his voice really well, but this can go for all of his music. It just doesn't get old. Whether you're listening to one of his OSTs from the game or you're listening to a song that he wrote and produced, his music is always a really good experience. One of the only times that I've ever been able to do schoolwork with music in the background was when I put on an hour-long version of the menu from Nico's Nextbots. Not to mention that you'll see right here, but trimping and knowing your way around the game is really, really satisfying. Like, just look at this. And don't get me wrong, I am well aware that even with all of the original personality that Nico has put into the game itself, this is mainly a Gmod-based game, or at least it really started that way. I know other people remember when they had Quandale Dingle or like Obama running around the map mainly. If you saw videos of gameplays back in 2022, those were the main Nextbots Nextbots that you'd always hear chasing you in the background. I kind of miss them. Not to mention my favorite Nextbot, which you could have probably guessed whenever I took off my my head accessory, with it being the face I have set underneath my avatar, Alternate, which I believe is originally from the Mandela catalog. The only time that I ever possessed a Nextbot was possessing Alternate because he's my favorite. I don't know if they removed him or something. The last billion times I've played, he's basically been missing. Rest in peace, Alternate. I hope that they pull a Boderman and bring you back at some point. I swear it's always my favorites that end up having some sort of issue with the game. Like, why can't the annoying ones like Pinhead or Nope or the car be the ones that have an issue and get removed? There are a few Nextbots, including those, that literally drive me up a wall. I would not be opposed to the skeleton with the trumpet just getting completely removed. Oh my god. But then there are also ones that are just as loud, but I like them, like Yoshi. Yoshi's literally the GOAT. Earlier when I mentioned Quandale and Obama, I think that you're able to stumble upon them in the back rooms. I know that you could whenever the back rooms was first being added. I think I remember still seeing Quandale, but Obama might just be lost media at this point. Also, if I ever make another one of these, they will be a lot less laggy, considering that I was screen recording this gameplay when I was on the bus, so I did not have the internet that I would usually have. I would totally have VIP if I had the Robux to get it. Unfortunately, I did, but I may or may not have been hacked and gotten everything traded out of my inventory and adopt me. Sadly, along with the $100 worth of Robux that I was savoring. Now, it doesn't really matter to me if it's a pixel on the screen, okay? I don't care. No matter what it is, whenever you put long-term energy into something and you work hard and you grind on this game and you reach the goals that you want to and you are so happy with everything that you've built, let alone grown attached to, it hurts to have it all go down the drain. It doesn't matter what it is, it's still somebody stealing from you. If you're that selfish for it to come to hacking and scamming and stealing on games to get what you want, I really think that that is the weakest thing that you can come to. Even though I wasn't the richest person in the game, I had almost everything that I really wanted. It was not easy. I put time and dedication into actual years of hard work to build everything that I had in that game. And not once did I ever scam a single person, because that's just not how you play. Great, you got the legendary Mega Neon Flyride Shadow Dragon, but do you really deserve it at that point? Like, people who scam their way through the entire game should not be considered rich whatsoever. You're only rich and valuable if you've worked for it. Otherwise, you are just a cheater. When you combine the fact that you've spent real money on this game and put real money into saving for Robux, not to mention the fact that I had pets that I had since the first day that I joined, named after pets that I no longer have anymore, goes to show that you literally have zero clue whose life you are affecting. So yeah, special shout out to Preppy Russian on TikTok, along with their hundreds of other bot accounts, Jacob Roblox Adopt Me, and their Roblox account Zach50. You genuinely do not deserve anything you have ever achieved online. Now, before I go, I was on Nico's Nextbots earlier and I saw Alternate. I didn't get to record it, but maybe either he's just really hard to find or it could have been someone's custom Nextbot. That was the first time I saw him in a really long time. Also, thank you to anybody who somehow watched this far.